do super in depth into the rehab groups anyway, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're going to see him because everyone's looking at Scoot right now, right? They're looking at every step he takes with that knee. But other than that, you can kind of lose guys in the mix. And then the rehab group, that can change by the day. You know, it depends on what day and what's going on. So
have you seen Watson, though, throwing like what looks like 30, 40-pound medicine balls over his head?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like doing the Olympian, like what's going on? I thought he was.
Hey, this is Watson.
We talked about that last night a little bit about him being ahead of schedule and how, you know, just like these surgeons and doctors and trainers and just the technology we have now, these players are able to get back a lot quicker from these knee injuries than they used to be. And we saw it a couple years ago with Rashawn. He was kind of ahead of schedule and was able to get back after his knee injury. So, yeah, I think it's looking good, man.
What was it, Tim, for Rashawn Gary? How many months was it? Was it 8? Am I thinking right? It was 8 months and he was back. Somebody help me in the chat with that. I would love to know when Gary tore his ACL and then his first game back. Because he was back week 1, wasn't he?
Week 9 in 2022, he tore it.
So week 9 would have been what, October?
November 6th.
November. Okay, so let's go December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 10 months. Okay, so 10 months.
But remember how he looked in June, July, and August, though.
Yep.
Like he was back before he was back. I remember being extremely excited when we saw that first day when they were actually letting him, you know, do some live reps and actually go out there and hit something. So yeah, I mean, I think could come back sooner than expected. I really do. I don't know how much sooner, but I think it's possible.
Because it's been 6 months now, right? So if it's June, so obviously he got hurt in January, so let's just count it off here. So July would be 7, 8 would be August, September would be 9. Yeah, man. October.
Yeah. Great point by Ron in the chat. Scoot is wearing cleats.
Yeah.
It's true. He's further along than we think. They're not going to let him do that if he's not ready.
Especially on turf and everything. And they had his, I think he said he had his helmet at certain points too. Like it wasn't just, I'm going to come out here and hang out with the team. Like he was.
And you got to love that in him as a player, right? That's that pro mindset where like, hey, cleats, gloves, helmet, don't get yourself out of rhythm. You know, it's time to get our legs under us. I don't want to have to come back from rehab and then get used to playing with equipment again, you know, and trying to get my legs underneath me. So I think Scoot it's a testament to his efforts as a pro. And, you know, how he's handling this rehab.
I think absolute best case scenario for Scoot would be week 4-ish, you know, week 3, week 4. And
yeah, that would be a dream.
Yeah. More realistically, probably going to be like week 9, I would imagine, something like that.
So, yeah, Carolina or Pittsburgh, maybe. Yep.
Yeah. You know, it is
back just in time to go up against Aaron Rodgers. Let's go, dude. Let's go.
Or even if we get him back for Monday Night Football against the defending Super Bowl champions, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's crazy too to think about. Like you said, I had to step away for a second, but Tank Dell had another crazy injury. That guy looks like he's ready to suit it up in like 2-3 months. I think that, like you said, the surgeons, the rehab, the way these guys are able to take care of their bodies, it's just kind of impressive. Like even on like a nerdy level, you know what I mean? And how great would it be to maybe offset the wear and tear of a long season? We have that really early bye that I'm not excited about, but you get a guy like Christian Watson, even if he comes back in week 12, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like we have him for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks into that playoff stint where all of a sudden he's starting to absolutely turn into his best player while other people are starting to absolutely get down, you know, downbeaten and deteriorated from just the long wear and tear of a season. It could be a blessing in disguise that we don't even know about.
Yeah. And I think it's important to try and get Scoot back on the field, you know, with a little bit of, you know, speed, because you want him to get in the groove, and it's hard coming back after missing a lot of time, especially when you're talking live game speed, competitive football. But that being said, we don't want to rush it, right? You don't want to. I mean, he's in this whole mess because we just had to let him play against the Bears.
Yes, exactly.
So let's not dig ourselves another hole and bring him back 2 weeks early and have a massive setback. So.
And it would be so detrimental for him as a kid, dude, because we did, like, that was the whole knock, is that he was always willing to play, ready to play, or I shouldn't say ready, but willing to put his body on the line to help the team. Right. And we need to be a little smarter in those situations and say, hey, dude, take a week off. Like, you got to.
I agree.
Completely. All right, so there's a little scoot update. Somebody else who's coming back from injury this year, obviously he was banged up most of the year last year, is Luke Musgrave. Bill Huber from SI posted this video of Musgrave looks 100% good to go, right? He's a lot quicker than you would think, man. And his stride length, like he's definitely got great stride length. Hate that the ball was underthrown there. I'd like to see him kind of stretch that thing out, but it is what it is. Obviously, they're not going full speed. Luke Musgrave, man, it's another guy. We went from going, man, what are we going to do at receiver to all of a sudden we forget Musgrave can be flexed out too. If you want to show 12 and put him out wide.
Yeah.
I want to hold out hope for Musgrave. I was very, very high on him in the draft. Very high on him in the draft. And he did. I want to say he let me down. Like he gives a damn what I think, right? But it's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe this is the year that it just clicks and he stays healthy. And the people saying he's soft and this and that, and that drives me crazy.
Yeah,
dude finished the game while he was bleeding internally. Just
look at this. I know again, way too early, right? And I don't want to like nerd out here, but he doesn't look like a baby deer anymore. Like
right.
Look at the feet. Look at his feet running that simple little route. Yeah, he didn't, like Soder said, he didn't fall down. Compressed,
it does look smoother. It looks way smoother.
He does. He looks more balanced. Looks a little bigger. He looks a little bigger too.
You know what's even more exciting is that for as fluid as he does look, and look at Tuck behind him though too, bro. He's going in and out of those cuts a little faster than I think I've seen him in the past. And if we have two athletic tight ends, which I'm not going to expect Musgrave to be the blocking, necessarily inline style guy. That's not better in his game really ever, right? But if he can absolutely take that, what's it be now, a third-year step into being that kind of seam buster, the guy that we just need him to stretch that defense, make them afraid of one other person to the point where, there's too many guys to guard, bro. We got too much speed. We got too many people that can absolutely open up on a defense. It's going to be, I really do think if everybody stays a little healthy, a little disciplined, I don't know, Tim, the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Oh, I agree. And the thing with Musgrave though is he's got to shore up that blocking, right? We know Matt's model, right? You don't block, you don't get the rock.
No rock.
Yeah, and we see that with Tucker Kraft, right? The guy does it all, Swiss Army knife, right? He'll get in there and lower the boom, and then he'll catch a fade route for a tutter on you. So I think we're trying to get Musgrave up to that kind of level and kind of round out his game. But this would be a great year for him to take that step, and if he does, I feel really good about the tight end room with him, Tuck Norris, and Big Ben Sims too. Another guy. Don't sleep on Ben Sims as well. So I feel good about the tight end position going into camp.
Funny too, we played that sound bite from Tucker Kraft last night on the show, and he said, "Yeah, I want to work on my vertical game." And you guys remember specifically, I said, "Man, throw a little stick nod in his game."
Ooh.
Watch his route right here. That's a stick nod. Out, up. That's a stick nod route. Pretty wild that the clip we got here is showing the exact route we mentioned last night. So I think they got the ability, the upside, the ceiling, if you will, to be the best tight end tandem in football, man. Tucker Kraft.
Imagine the roasting that a DB would get if he got stick nodded by a tight end.
Yeah. Especially, yeah. And then, of course, him doing that to say a nickel corner, a box safety, and then to see the post safety's eyes when he notices, damn, I've got to tackle this dude now. You know what I mean? He's I'm excited about what Tucker.
What do you think is more of a mismatch? A safety against a Tucker / Musgrave, or a linebacker that doesn't quite see how fast? You know what I'm saying? Like, which one would you prefer if you had? Obviously the scheme dependent, play dependent, all that. But like, I feel like I could see Tuck running away for some linebackers like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like the height advantage over the safeties, like you said, could be just easy money.
Yeah. To me, it's real simple. Musgrave, his strength, his superpower is stride length. He's significantly faster than Tucker. I want to say he ran a 4.61 and Tucker ran a 4.67. So it's speed, it's stride length, it's more of a receiving role, right? But Tucker is all yak. He's yak, piss, and vinegar. Like that dude will run through your face. So
and bush lattes and lung darts.
Yeah.
If you're asking me, Jacob, as a defensive coordinator, you could pick one that you want to go up against. I would rather go up against Musgrave because I can make sure that he doesn't take the top off. Tucker Kraft, it's hard to coach your players to stick your face in a buzzsaw. And that's what you got to do when you tackle Tucker. So I think it's more that physical game. And Tucker's a significantly better blocker than Musgrave as well. So, you're going to see Tucker is that traditional Y, your big Y. And Musgrave is that guy that's going to move around a little bit and get a little cheat motion out on a wheel or a cross country or something like that. So
no block, no rock.
What do you
Yeah. The chat said, Kraft said he worked on separation. That's what we were just talking about, how he talked about that yesterday. He said creating separation in man coverage and my vertical game is what he was talking about. So you get to working on that. Again, like we talked about last night, these defenses, when they go and watch the tape, they watch the tape this whole offseason. And when they look at 85 and they game plan for Green Bay, they're going, hey, listen, this guy loves to catch the ball underneath and run through people's faces, right? So let's take that away. So if you start to clamp down on that and he hits you with a stick nod or he hits you with, a double move, you can see them biting on it. And if he's truly working on that separation, which when you talk separation, look at the footwork, like you pointed out there, Jacob. Watch Tucker's footwork. You could tell he's been working on it. Yep. That's clean, boys. That's crisp. And honestly,
the head fake too.
Some people say that ain't a big deal. Go try that. Go try that little double move cut.
Yep. And see if you do it without falling over.
See if you do it.
And then, by the way, catch the football that's right there in your face as soon as you turn out of the break.
Right. What'd you say, Jacob? You say something, Jacob?
No, I said along with the footwork, watch the head fake. Yeah, like the head fake that he has too. He's looking more wide receiver-ish, not just a bruiser. He's starting to polish that game a little more.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what these two guys can do this year for sure. Man, this show flew by. Jeez, Pete, we didn't get to cover half the stuff I wanted to. Let me hit this real quick. As more information has come out, it sounds like the Packers are going to absorb that entire $17 million cap penalty from Jaire's contract. We talk about when you wait post June 1, you kind of roll it into next year, a portion of it. You can take the bigger hit this year or the smaller hit this year and then bend the rest. It sounds like since they got all this cap space, as Matt Schneidman tweeted out, Packers are taking on Jaire Alexander's full dead cap hit this year instead of spreading it out per source. That's what Brian Gutekunst was referencing. According to Over the Cap, that number is $17 million. So you go ahead and you get that cap penalty out of the way so you ain't got to fool with it next year. And again, right now we're sitting at $40-some million in cap space. That was before that $17 million cap hit. So now I want to say we're somewhere around $30 million in cap space this year. And next year, I think as it sits right now, we're sitting somewhere around $30 million as well. According to what I've looked at, and I've looked at the salaries that are on the books. I've looked at the projected salary cap for next year, which is always going to increase every year because NFL is king. I think we're sitting somewhere around $30 million. Now, that includes the draft class, but it doesn't include filling out the roster. And we know they're going to sign some of these guys to futures and things like that. That's going to eat up a little bit more as well. So I always tell people, man, get it within $5 million of an accurate number and you're good. Like you ain't got to break it down to the exact dollar. So
things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
I got to ask you guys, man, we got to retire the Jaire clips, don't we?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah, we do.
It just disappeared. It just disappeared. It's gone. They're all gone.
Just erased it.
Said, I'm not even waiting. It's
gone.
It's fair.
Hey, when you go through a breakup, Tim, you don't listen. You delete all the pictures.
Stuff up, get it out, get it away. Got to move on.
He said you got to box it up. AFM said I sell it on eBay. Is what he said.
Daryl, if you need to get rid of somebody, call Daryl. Apparently,
Daryl said I got a tank of acid that I make that disappear. You know what I'm saying?
That's terrible.
All right. I was gonna hit a little defense here real quick. We're like I said, we're out of time. Let's finish with the Patreon questions real quick because I've kind of put these off. And I definitely don't want to get in the habit of doing that. This is something that we want to keep everybody involved over on Patreon. If you want to join our Patreon community, just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. It's the best way to support what we do here at Packers Total Access. $3 get you access to everything on the site. Also get you entered into the giveaways. We're going to be giving away an autographed Romeo Doubs card in a case and everything, really put together well by Rick Kruger, one of our awesome listeners. Anybody?
I just caught the ball.
Anybody who's a member of the $3 tier will be entered into that contest for a chance to win that card this coming week. Also looking for Damon Stewart, Randy, and Greg. I think Randy already came forward, and we were waiting to hear from Damon Stewart. I'll check those messages and we'll go ahead and give that card away that we, like last 2 weeks, we've done a Kingsley Enagbare autograph card, and we also did a Lucas Van Ness autograph card. So just a way for us to give back to those who support the channel. You also get access to the questions for the show. So here are some of the comments / questions. Zach in the chat, Zach Metzenbar says, going back to the pod from last night, this a couple of days ago, our third down efficiency was not very good in any of the losses we had. I think drafting Matthew Golden is the answer to that issue. He seems to show out the most in big moments. That's exactly what I'm seeing too, Zach. When his team needed him in college, I believe that will be his primary role, even if he doesn't put up, quote, wide receiver 1 numbers. I think you're spot on there. And as we're seeing in minicamp, a little back shoulder chemistry he's creating with Jordan, kind of feels like. And again, when you look at that and you think that's what Rome did, right? And there's a chance that Romeo gets traded before camp's over, right? There's a legit shot at that. If they like what they see in Golden, I could see them move on from Rome, and now he's the X. That could be the case as well. Or if you just want to play him primarily at Z, that's perfect. You can put him primarily at Z, and then you let Wicks try to work himself into the X role along with Savion and McCole. We just talked about McCole, and here we are, not even mentioning him as the top 3. Like, who knows? That dude could come in and take the Z, and you put Golden at X. I'll tell you something else that could happen. Romeo Dobbs could have his best training camp of his young career and force them to not take him off the field too. That could happen as well. So then we mentioned, of course, the Carrington talk. We won't hit that again. Last one, Trevor Anderson said, "Hey, Clayton, I don't have the tools to see what other teams did around the league, but people seem to think we have a problem in the secondary. We only allowed 2 100-yard receivers all season last year." I'm going to repeat that. Wow. We only allowed 2 100-yard receivers all season last year, and none against the Eagles in the playoffs. Not
Is that real?
Yeah. Not cherry picking one stat to give the whole picture. I just found this one interesting, as I would have thought we gave up a lot more than that. You know why, Trevor? Because idiots talk about it as if they know what the hell they're talking about, and it's just simply not the case. It's not. I could be wrong here. Let's go. You go look at the box score, guys. Week 1 against the Eagles, I'm almost positive one of those 100-yard receivers was A.J. Brown. And by the way, Jaire was covering.
Jaire. Yeah.
So if you remove Jaire's performance, then you only had one 100-yard receiver. I'm almost positive he had over 100 yards. And again, that's not saying Jaire's a bad player. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope, and I know you're going to laugh at me. What if Jaire goes to the market and it's less than what the Packers offered him in a restructure, and he just comes rolling right back into town?
And then Goody says, "We've moved on."
You think he will?
That's. I honestly, yeah. I don't think that.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Thanks.
I hate to be like that because I'm with you. Like, there's that small possibility that, hey, you get a call one day. Hey, is that offer still on the table? My gut's telling me Goody would say no, it's not. So,
yeah. And listen, here's the thing. I expected if he was going to sign, it was going to happen quick.
Yeah,
I thought that. And he's still on the market. So I know it's been, 2 days? I'm over here going, maybe he comes back. I don't know. Because the team is better with him on it. There it is. Thank you, Bates. You are the man, dude. He said Brown, 5 receptions, 119 yards in a TUD. That TUD, I remember it like it was yesterday. I almost want to pull it up real quick on NFL Pro. It was a stick knot. It was an out and up on the outside on the right. I could see it plain as day. And Ja bots on the double move, and he gets cooked over the top, and then he made Javon Bullard miss, which, again, Javon Bullard was single high safety. You can't put that on him. Yep. Yeah. So,
do you guys? Unfortunately, I just feel like the writing is on the wall. Somehow the jaw is going to be in purple, and whether that be purple in like Vikings, I think, or Baltimore, I could just see those are the types of teams that are willing to say, "Hey, we know what he can be when he's healthy. We just got to work on it." I think, though, that Clayton, I don't think it's crazy for you to say that he goes and tests the market because we always say you can't make the club in the tub. Jaire has shown not only in the amount of games he has been available for or not played, but Ryan did a great job, too, of showing that he has been a hindrance sometimes in the locker room. He has one on record saying he didn't make critical tackles that would have either won playoff games or won divisional rivals against the Niners, against the Lions, against the Vikings. He admitted to it.
Playoffs?
that he knew he should have either made a play, wrapped up, didn't give full effort, didn't want to go, whatever the wording is. to me, I think teams look at that and say, yo, this dude's going to get to be about 30. He wants like 30 million a year, whatever, big money. No, that doesn't sound right to me.
That's what I think he's going to notice. And if you want to speculate on, he might go here, he might go there. Pittsburgh needs a corner. Could it be Minnesota? I think if you're going to try and speculate on where he might go, like Dave's saying here, Ravens make a ton of sense.
Oh yeah.
Him and Lamar Jackson are best good friends, so like, okay, that makes sense. But is Baltimore going to overpay for Jaire?
No.
Are the Minnesota Vikings going to overpay for Jaire?
I think Minnesota would. Kwesi sucks, dude.
So but that's my point. So if you want to narrow it down, start looking at organizations that are going to bow down and pay what Ja wants, because we already know Ja's not interested in renegotiating, or he wants what he wants, right?
Yeah. He thinks he's Jaire from 4 years ago.
Well, all right, but one thing he has been, though, in this whole contractual mess of a process is consistent. He said, look, I want what I want. I'm not budging. Y'all can offer a restructure all you want. I'm not signing it. Well, that's what we did, right? And we moved on. So I think another team, any prospective new landing spot for him is going to be an organization that's willing to pay at least pretty doggone close to what Ja's looking to get.
Oh, Carolina. That makes sense.
Yeah, Carolina. That's where they didn't realize I was from here.
They must not have remembered.
An organization that might overpay for Jaire could be
Duval.
I could see him down there in Florida too. He just looks like a Florida guy, don't he?
Yep,
for sure. Back to the poll question as we get ready to wrap up here real quick. I asked here on YouTube, I said, who would you rather start at left tackle, Rasheed Walker or Jordan Morgan? 58% of the viewers, and we had 71 votes, 58% of the viewers said Rasheed Walker. 42% said Jordan Morgan. So pretty close there, just a 16% difference. But you guys are on board with Rasheed Walker, and it's hard for me to argue with that because, again, man, he's been as good of a pass blocker as you could ask for, especially for a 7th-round pick. Like, we fell in love with him when we seen him violate that dude in college, right? That was but I didn't expect him to – and for him to sit a full year and then just come out in year 2 and just all of a sudden, man, look, this guy can pass block. Holy cow, pretty impressive. Again, the run blocking, leaves a lot to be desired, but you can't expect a perfect prospect in the 7th round. That's for sure. So,
yep.
Anything else, boys? We good?
Nope. Just want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, and I wish Julio would come around more.
Who? H.E. Soda said, poll is wrong, clearly rigged. There you go. Just like everything else on this show, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here, guys. I got a chance to get some brownie points tonight and actually not get threatened with a divorce for being up here too late. Last night we got, after the show, Tim, we sat up here another hour watching baseball videos, people getting beamed and fights from baseball games. And Mandy was like, it took a long time tonight. Yeah, it was a busy night. We had a lot to get done. So anyway, appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome. I want to give a special shout out to Vahan for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. That was very kind of you. Everybody in our Patreon community, thank y'all. You are the lifeblood of what we do here, just supporting the show.